Rob Seco, Future Farm. Today's innovations, tomorrow's solutions.
So, Chad Schuler from Meadowbrook. Every spring you are faced with the decision of when do you start up the pivot to start watering. And it's always a really difficult decision to make every spring. Maybe dry, maybe a bit wet. How do you go about making that decision in the spring?
Well, usually it comes down to using the tools in our toolbox. We look at pivot here, an irrigation system. It's just one of those tools. But to help make that decision when to turn this on, we use soil moisture probes. Nice thing is just with an app, we can look at what the readings are, the soil moisture readings in the soil. And then that helps us to determine when we need to turn them on. It's also kind of an agronomic decision because it is early right now. The crop is just coming out of the ground, and so it's more or less, we're using it not so much to replenish the soil moisture, but we're using it to activate herbicides, to get the fertilizer in the ground more so it can be more useful to the crop.
And so you utilize a lot of technology then to get this done. And so we also have with us Ben Longmire with Mid-Continent Irrigation. So Ben, tell us a little bit about some of these technologies that you utilize in order to help with that decision making.
Sure, yeah, it's come a long way in the last couple years. We're doing a lot of stuff remotely now, so we're able to read stuff through apps so we can monitor and control things remotely. The new soil probes we have, those are all read remotely. They're tied in with a weather station as well, so we can use valley scheduling to see what kind of capacity we have down there and know a lot better when to water.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of the decision-making process is balancing that activation of herbicides or really promoting emergence where in drier conditions you may not get uniform emergence on the crop, but you don't want to water if you don't have to because that's a significant expense. And so utilizing these technologies, you're really providing that benefit to the farmers in order to improve that decision-making process, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it a lot with this new valley scheduling that we've come out with. Guys can save, a couple circles a year where it might look like you need to water, but a little bit further down you really don't. Yeah.
Yeah, so Chad, that really makes a big difference for you. If you don't have to run the pivot 1 or 2 times extra a season, I mean, what does that do to your bottom line?
Well, I mean, with margins being as tight as they are, usually in our area, our expense is $7 to $10 an acre for each acre inch that you put on.
Yep.
So I mean, if you can, reduce your irrigation by 2-3 circles a year, I mean, you're talking, $30 an acre. Which, I mean, that really goes a long ways to the bottom line.
It goes a huge ways to the bottom line. And you're here in a condition in eastern Nebraska where you don't necessarily have the same water allocations as in other parts of the country. I mean, some parts of the United States, there's significant water allocations. And so avoiding running the pivot one more time may result in actually preserving that allocation for when you really need it.
Right.